Modern problems. The kind of problems that make you buy a $300 coffee machine so you can make barista grade lattes at home, only to realize 6 months later you're still drinking gas station coffee because, well, who has time to clean that thing? Modern life is uniquely challenging. Despite advances in technology, medicine, and communication, we seem to be more overwhelmed than ever. Deadlines pile up, relationships feel fragile, energy levels hit new lows on the daily. That's the story of our lives now, isn't it? Big problems, expensive solutions, and somehow more problems than what we started with. These issues seem to arise out of nowhere, but they're actually the byproduct of a society that's designed for complexity. Welcome to the never ending hamster wheel of modern life. Brought to you by capitalism, sponsored by convenience, and in partnership with our own refusal to just put in the damn work. You're burnt out after weeks of juggling work and personal commitments. But instead of addressing the root causes, like a lack of boundaries or overcommitting yourself, you search for a shortcut, maybe a wellness retreat, a productivity hack, or a nootropic that promises to boost your energy. But does it really solve the issue, or does it just mask it for a little while? Here's the irony: the more advanced our world becomes, the more fragmented our lives feel. And when problems arise, we instinctively look outward for answers. But what if the answers we seek aren't solutions at all? In his magnum opus named Thus Spoke Zarathustra, philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche presents a scathing critique of modernity and elaborates on humanity's aversion to facing discomfort and taking on challenges. Nietzsche's last man is a figure who seems to have been born out of a collective obsession with comfort and convenience. When Zarathustra, Nietzsche's prolific sage, comes down from his high mountain of wisdom to share profound truths about human potential, he tells the crowd about the Übermensch, the Superman, Nietzsche's idea of what humanity could become if it truly embraced growth, courage, and greatness. But the crowd isn't having it. They laugh and mock and couldn't care less about Zarathustra's lofty visions. So, what does Zarathustra do? He pivots. He starts painting a rather grim picture. And this isn't his take on an old campfire tale about Bigfoot. It's a warning of what will happen if humanity doesn't strive for greatness. He tells them about the Letzter Mensch, the last man, humanity's cautionary tale in sweatpants, the ultimate poster child for convenience and comfort. He's so comfortable, he might as well be binging top 10 ways to avoid effort videos while ordering takeout that takes 10 minutes to arrive, 5 minutes to consume, and a lifetime to digest. Challenge, struggle, risk. Well, those are for people who can't comprehend the beauty of same day delivery and 10-day returns. Why strive for greatness when you can outsource basic life skills to apps and subscription services? The last man doesn't dream big or aim high. Instead, he says things like, "We've invented happiness," which is Nietzsche's way of saying, "We've settled for mediocrity." And let's be honest, the last man is us. Every time we pay a premium for pre chopped vegetables because cooking is too much work, or when we think we are learning while we are doom scrolling through bite sized facts on social media. We've traded hard earned progress for convenience and conveniently called it innovation. Feeling stressed? Don't take a walk or meditate. Buy a calming mulled cider scented CBD candle that promises instant zen. Lonely? Why waste time addressing your emotional needs when you can just download an AI chatbot that can immediately make you feel wanted and loved? Burned out? Don't bother setting boundaries or re-evaluating your workload. Subscribe to a productivity app that'll gamify your exhaustion and help you squeeze out just a little bit more output. It's like we've collectively decided that the best way to fix a leaky pipe is to just keep mopping the floor forever. This isn't just laziness, it's a loss of the very spirit that drives human progress. The last man, Nietzsche's ultimate passive nihilist. Tired of life, unwilling to strive, and content with just existing. In choosing safety and comfort over growth, the last man represents everything Nietzsche feared for humanity. A life so barren of challenge and aspiration that it becomes unworthy of the name life. As alarming as it sounds, Nietzsche's last man is like that part of us that hits the snooze button on life itself. He's a walking PSA for what happens when we prioritize convenience over courage. This brings us to the first layer of understanding. Why are we so drawn to quick fixes? To answer that, we need to go back to our evolutionary roots. Humans evolved to seek efficiency. In a hunter gatherer context, conserving energy was critical for survival. We avoided unnecessary effort because it allowed us to focus on the essentials finding food, shelter, and safety. That instinct still remains hardwired into us. Now, fast forward to the modern world. Efficiency is no longer a matter of survival, it's become a cultural obsession. Products and services capitalize on this instinct, offering convenience at every turn. Think about it. Why cook when you can order delivery? Why learn a skill when there's an app that can do it for you? Why pour in effort to hone your craft when you can just let ChatGPT take the wheel? There's also a psychological factor at play: dopamine. When we buy a product that promises to solve our problems, we feel a brief high, a sense of relief that the issue is being handled. But this is a trick. It's a trap! Take the phenomenon of resorting to a fitness app to meet your health goals and relying on its motivational features to stay on track. At first, downloading one feels like the perfect solution to your health woes. Your phone now holds the secret to six-pack abs in 6 minutes. You already start imagining yourself as a Greek god. But soon, you're ignoring the notifications, subscribing to 3 different apps that you'll never use, and somehow losing your breath just scrolling through their workout plans. And yet, your credit card works out harder than you ever will. The initial solution has created new layers of frustration, building a Kafkaesque abyss of solutions and problems that you can completely get lost into without realizing or admitting that you're lost. Nietzsche warned that the society of the last man could become so shallow and decadent that it could no longer foster the growth of strong individuals or meaningful human life. The last man emerges when people or societies become apathetic, losing the capacity to dream, aspire, or take risks. Instead, they settle into a life of mere survival, focusing only on earning a living and staying comfortable, devoid of any greater purpose or ambition. This leads us to a darker truth. Many modern solutions aren't even designed to solve problems. They're designed to perpetuate them. Fast fashion solves the urgent crisis of needing a new outfit for every Instagram post. But don't worry, those cheap threads will fall apart faster than your New Year resolution to stop shopping, ensuring you'll be back for more in no time. Diet plans promise to make you skinny yesterday. Just don't expect them to teach you how to keep the weight off. But hey, when the weight creeps back, they'll happily sell you another overpriced program. Call it a subscription to your self esteem. Social media? Oh, it promises you connection. And by connection, it means scrolling endlessly through strangers' highlight reels until you're lonelier than ever. But don't fret, you can always scroll a little longer to fill that gaping void. Why does this keep happening? Because the economic systems we live in thrive on recurring problems. Planned obsolescence, coupled with a diabolical marketing scheme designed to make you feel left out of society if you don't comply, Ensure that we are constantly addicted to the rush of upgrading while discarding perfectly usable products. A permanent fix isn't profitable. The more dependent we are on products and services, the more we contribute to this cycle of consumption. And the more purchases you make trying to solve your problems, the more auxiliary problems they create. Maintenance, storage, organization, upgrades, renewals. Congrats! You've successfully ensnared yourself into a recurring labyrinth of recurring problems, all for $4.99 a month. You're free to cancel anytime, but you probably won't. It's a perfect loop, one that's incredibly hard to break. These so called solutions are nothing but more auxiliary problems that often make things worse. They don't solve the root of the problem, they just slap a band aid on it. And when that band aid falls off, guess what? You're still bleeding money and time. It's like a really bad pyramid scheme, except instead of trying to sell supplements, you're trying to convince yourself that a $200 standing desk converter is the key to your happiness. Once you've invested in a solution, it's difficult to admit it's not working. This is the sunk cost fallacy, the mistaken idea that because you've already spent time, money, or effort on something, you should stick with it even if it's not effective. You've seen your colleagues wearing an Apple Watch. They flaunt it like it's the holy grail of fitness, casually dropping phrases like, "Oh, my heart rate just spiked during that meeting," or "Yay, I closed all my rings yesterday." Suddenly, their entire personality revolves around step counts and notifications from Apple Health. Naturally, you don't want to be left out of this elite club of tech enhanced wellness gurus. So, you drop hundreds of dollars on the top of the line Apple Watch. Congratulations, you're now a part of the tribe. Your friends notice, your colleagues nod approvingly, and you've even bragged to a few people about your newfound commitment to fitness. Except there's just one small problem. The Apple Watch is sitting on your nightstand, unused, untouched, unappreciated. A tiny glowing monument to good intentions gone bad. Sure, it's supposed to motivate you to exercise, but instead it's become a glorified wrist decoration, or worse, a charging station paperweight. Day after day, you ignore its polite reminders to move, and it starts to feel less like a gym buddy and more like a judgmental aunt, rubbing your failures in your face. But here's the real kicker. Sure, you spent hundreds of dollars on it. That's not just money, it's your pride on the line. And now, your entire identity is tethered to this watch. You're no longer just you, you're that dude with the Apple Watch. It's your badge of belonging to the cult of fitness gadgets, your symbol of modern self improvement, your signal to the world that you care about your health since they can only see the watch flashing on your wrist, but not the 5 cheeseburgers you shove down your throat at home. You walk into meetings and subtly adjust your sleeve so everyone can see it gleam. You post a story of your wrist with the caption, "Just close my rings for today." But deep down, you know the truth. You bought it for the status, not the step count. So instead of facing the truth that maybe this isn't working for you, you think, you know what? Maybe I just need the newer model. And so you spend even more money chasing a solution that's never going to fix the real issue, your mindset and habits. Because, spoiler alert, no amount of tech can do your push ups for you, no matter how many motivational notifications it sends. This fallacy keeps us trapped in a prison partly of our own making. Now you're poorer, but none the wiser. We keep upgrading, subscribing, and searching for better versions of solutions that were never meant to truly solve our problems. This cycle, problems, solutions, and then problems caused by those solutions, is a recursive hallmark of modern life. Remember Wall-E? The film portrays a grim yet eerily familiar vision of our future. Faced with environmental collapse, humanity's grand solution was to abandon Earth entirely. Massive starships promised salvation, whisking everyone away to a pristine new life among the stars. It seemed like a flawless fix, a fresh start to leave all our problems behind. But as the story unfolds, we see the unintended consequences of this escape. A life in space that stripped humanity of its vitality. The technological utopia designed for ultimate comfort and efficiency became a dystopia in disguise. With every human need met by machines, people no longer had to move, think critically, or engage deeply with their surroundings. Over time, they lost their physical health, becoming obese and immobile. They lost their autonomy, relying entirely on automated systems for even the smallest tasks. Most tragically, they lost their purpose, floating aimlessly through life with no struggle, no connection to their environment, and no reason to grow. Why did this happen? Because our modern systems are designed for growth, not balance. They push us to consume more, solve more, and move faster, creating a vortex that's almost impossible to escape. In the last 10 years, modern technology has virtually erased borders and made it possible to establish connections with any part of the world in mere seconds. But this has come at a great cost, unbeknownst to us. Sure, all the technology that we have has made it easier to connect with people who live far from us. But this comes at a cost of the people who are closest to us. Every dollar earned by a technologist is off the backs of someone not spending time with his wife, his daughter, or his son. It's a minute stolen from a father who couldn't tuck his daughter into bed. It's a dinner table left empty, where a wife eats alone because her husband is still grinding away. It's a child growing up wondering why dad's always in a meeting or why mom's face is always lit by the cold glow of a screen. Behind every line of code, every app launched, every technological marvel lies the unspoken cost. Families fractured, connections severed, and a society trading its soul for convenience. It's not just dollars being made, it's moments being lost forever. But the biggest casualty here is the time we don't spend with our own selves. Introspection has become a dead art form. Every spare second has to be compulsively filled with music or podcasts or any other piece of content that unplugs you from the dark complexities of your own thoughts, the vicissitudes of your own life, and the root causes behind your problems. Most of us would get a mini anxiety attack if our phone is taken from us, let alone willfully give up our phones for extended periods of time to deep dive into the crevices of our own minds, to inquire why we are the way we are, to have long, uncomfortable conversations with the monsters lurking within the depths of our psyche, to ask ourselves why we can be so perpetually indecisive, easily discouraged, endlessly overthinking, painfully awkward, relentlessly defensive, and uncomfortably intense, just to start off the list. But we find ourselves yet again into this convoluted loop of hyperconsumption and production. If we are not too busy producing, we numb ourselves by consuming whatever is in sight. And because we consume so intensely, we deny ourselves any room to wrestle with our own shadow and figure out what could ultimately be holding us back from truly solving our own problems for good. If we just spend some time with ourselves, we may figure out how we could be sabotaging ourselves in deviously unique ways only known to us. But we've been collectively hypnotized to drink the Kool Aid and outsource all of our worries just because products and services that cater to our problems exist out there. And now that all our worries are outsourced, we can finally dedicate more time to produce and perpetuate this cycle all over again. This video isn't meant to be a rant about piling all our problems on capitalism while conveniently escaping how our own addiction to convenience has made us complicit in bringing us to this point. I am just as, if not more, guilty compared to any one of you watching this video. We are all collectively culpable in letting our lust for efficiency hoodwink us into believing we can solve deep problems by resorting to methods that haven't withstood the turbulence of time. But then, how do we actually break free from the endless cycle of temporary fixes and quick solutions? Well, let's ask the expert himself.
Kids, you tried your best and you failed miserably. The lesson is never try.
But in all seriousness, the answer is deceptively simple. We need to focus on changing the way we think and act instead of relying on products and services to solve our problems for us. We have to get comfortable with discomfort. We need to get down and dirty with our problems, get a bit of the good old elbow grease on, and actually stop outsourcing our solutions. No solution offered by a third party who doesn't know you as intimately as you and isn't familiar with the inner texture of your mind would give you a solution that provides lasting change. For this, you need to grow. And growth isn't supposed to be easy. It's pretty hard and sometimes downright uncomfortable. But this struggle is what helps us build strength and lasting change. Instead of turning to an app or product to manage stress, try thinking of stress differently. See it as a way your body is telling you to focus on what really matters and take care of yourself. Next, focus on being present rather than always choosing what's easiest. Our modern world makes us think that faster and easier is always better. But real, meaningful change takes time and attention. Try habits like truly listening when someone is talking, eating without distractions, or paying attention to the world around you. These small actions can help you feel more connected to yourself and others, and they make you less likely to look for quick fixes. Most importantly, practice radical self awareness. Before you make a decision to buy a new shiny product that claims to solve all your problems, take a moment to think, what is the core problem that I'm really trying to solve here? Am I capable to solve the root cause of it? Or am I throwing money at this problem to save myself time and effort in the short term? What other auxiliary problems will this purchase bring with it? Am I willing to make a trade off here and solve these auxiliary problems, or am I just better off trying to think of a different solution to my core problem? Does this fit with what I really care about in the long run? Being mindful like this can help you make better choices that lead to real progress instead of just masking the problem for a while. Naval Ravikant famously says, the older the problem, the older the solution. He implies that when it comes to age old problems, tried and true solutions are often more reliable than flashy modern ones. These older solutions have survived through generations, refined and tested by countless people over time. For instance, handling stress. No amount of scrolling endlessly through self care TikToks can replace touching grass or calling up a close friend. Getting in shape? Consistent workouts and home cooked meals beat any viral 30-day challenge. Feeling lonely? Genuine conversations and shared experiences with friends still matter more than reacting to their Insta stories. The wisdom of the past may not always be glamorous, but it stood the test of time for a reason. When we focus on how we think and act rather than what we can buy or use, we can make a true attempt at breaking the cycle of creating new problems while trying to solve old ones. Real change doesn't come from the things we own, it comes from understanding ourselves and handling challenges with a little bit of thought and a whole lot of effort. So, take a deep breath, stare into the mirror, and ask yourself, am I truly evolving or am I just upgrading? If you made it this far, maybe you like listening to thought provoking ideas that challenge the way you think and the choices that you make. So, if this video made you rethink your relationship with convenience, maybe it's time to share it with someone else who needs to hear it. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next one.